UFC 309, Jones versus Miocic just took place, and I'm going to go through the entire card, starting with the early prelims, ending with the main event, giving my reaction and breakdown to every single fight on the card, starting with the early prelim opener of Veronica Hardy versus Eduardo Moura. This was a reasonably competitive fight. I picked Veronica Hardy to win. It wasn't the most exciting fight, as you can probably expect at this point when you see certain fights on the card. It wasn't the best way to start off the card, but Eduardo Moura won the fight with her physicality and her takedowns. A little bit too big and strong for Veronica Hardy. I thought Veronica Hardy showed to be the better martial artist out of the two of them. I thought she was going into the fight, and I still think she is now, but she was just a little bit too weak in the grappling, you know. She got taken down, she got held down. I reckon, like, it's not crazy far-fetched to say that she could have got the first and the third. But Eduardo Moura kept getting her takedowns in moments, and in women's MMA, that often can be the edge in some very close rounds. Now, I thought it was a pretty competitive fight from what I was watching. I was watching the first round while I was loading up my stream, and the second round, she outlanded Moura again. The third round, she outlanded her again. But I need to go with that. If it's going to be competitive, and I think, this is probably going to be a competitive fight, and it's going to go to the scorecards, and it might be close, I need to start thinking who's more physical, who's going to get a takedown at the end of the round. They don't really nitpick, who technically landed more? They went with Eduardo Moura. I saw her winning the fight as well. It was that close. She won the fight, man. She got takedowns. She held down Veronica Hardy. It is what it is. Who cares? I was wrong. We move on. Bassil Hafez versus Oban Elliott. The Welsh gangster, dude. Repping Wales. It's part of my DNA right there, dude. Oban Elliott gets it done. I'm a big fan of Oban Elliott. I think he's becoming a legitimate contender to watch out for. Because we were talking in the stream and people were saying, what do you think about Oban Elliott and all these streaking contenders that are new in the welterweight division? And they were chucking in names like Ian Gary and Sean Brady and some of these other names. And I'm thinking, Oban's not in the mix with those names. Obviously not rankings-wise, but in terms of like a streaking contender. And I think, hang on, Oban's 3-0 in the UFC welterweight division. And there aren't many UFC welterweights that are on that kind of streak right now in the UFC. So, you know, Oban's doing his thing. He's 3-0. This was probably his best performance. I know one judge had Bassil Hafez up 2-0. I had Oban Elliott winning every round of this fight. Now, I root for Oban Elliott, okay? He may be watching this right now, okay? He sort of took a side of the enemy, as far as I was aware. And I thought that when that whole beef happened, that separated a rift down the MMA community, the ones who sided with them were basically just waiting to, like, show their disdain of me. You know what I mean? So I was like, dude, Oban hates me. I'm crushed. You know what I mean? I was a huge fan of Oban. I have been even through the regional career, dude. I think it was wrong what the Figlak brothers did to you, dude. Confronting you like that 2-on-1 when you're cutting weight. It's pathetic, Oban. I was there thinking, ugh, God, how unprofessional of the Figlak brothers to confront you like this backstage. Honestly. I hope Oban goes on to outshine them and have his own great career. Like, I've been a big fan of Oban, so I was hurt when I thought he was against me, but apparently he wasn't. It was just banter. So, it's good. We're good, you know? It's all good. Oban Elliott got a great win, though. I thought he won the first 2 rounds. It was close, though. I get that. He got a finish in the third round. Nasty KO. And that was good for him as well because he needed that standout win that's going to get him to jump up in the welterweight division because a lot of people were saying things like, in my chat, they were saying, how do you think about these prospects at the welterweight division? They were saying like Brian Battle and this name and that name. And they're all recognizable names that are Carlos Prates and Michael Morales and all these prospects. And they chucked in Oban Elliott. And I thought, why are they chucking in Oban Elliott's name? I think he chucked in Ramiz Brahimaj's name, which we'll get to in a second as well. And I was like, why are they chucking in Oban's name? Not yet. And I thought to myself, hang on, he is 3-0 in the UFC now as a welterweight. There's not many welterweights riding an undefeated streak right now with 3-0. Like, he's in amongst that company, and with 1 or 2 more wins, we are going to be looking at rankings depending on what that 1 or 2 more wins are. But with the right wins, we're not far off rankings with Oban Elliott. He looked good. Front kicks to the body, low kicks. We were in sync. I was watching the fight. I was like, low kicks open now. Go. Now back to that front kick, and he was stabbing the front kick into the stomach of Bassil Hafez. I'm being honest with you right now, chat, though. First of all, I thought he won every round, and then he got a vicious overhand right, dropped Bassil Hafez, put him out in the third round, finished him off. Nasty finish. Apparently, people... No, this is the wrong scorecard that I'm looking at here. I'm going to look back at the numbers here of the fight. Oban massively outlanded him. I can't believe that one judge had Bassil up 2-0. 25-10 in round 1. 29-12 in round 2. Finished him in round 3. How did any judge have Hafez winning any of those rounds? I was watching it like, dude, that's Oban. 2-0. Clear. Close. Like, it was kind of unclear to see, but he landed good low kicks. Good body kicks. Landed decent punches here and there. I thought he clearly won the fight. I thought he was on his way to cruising to a decision win. Probably his best performance. Maybe you could say his worst opponent, but then I was a bit shaky about him in his debut. Because I was like, oh, Val Woodburn. Can we do better against Val Woodburn? But he grappled offensively there. Now it feels like his striking's coming along. His confidence in his striking game is evolving. And he looked good. He looked good on the feet, man. His boxing's looking better. His striking defense is actually pretty slick when you look at his game. I think there's a bit of a prospect here at welterweight. I don't know how far he's going to go, but if he gets another big win outside the rankings, they're going to start looking at names that are going to get him put into that number 15 spot, or ranked names themselves, maybe coming off a loss here and there. It's not long before this guy's up against Neil Magny, guys. That's what I'm saying here, okay? I will say, though, about Bassil Hafez, and I've wanted to say this. Who is this guy, and who was the guy that showed up against JDM? The shape that he's in compared to the fight against JDM, night and day. I'm just saying, when you take a guy on short notice outside the UFC, you don't know what they're on. You don't have testing history for them. He comes in against JDM, swinging these crazy shots and getting these takedowns and picking up JDM and dunking him. And now I'm not seeing him even shoot a shot while he's being outstruck. And he's so slow and he's like weak looking. Oban won. Great win, but we got to start like, oh, if that guy's on our radar as maybe a guy that's going to jump up on short notice, let's get a test or two in. You know what I mean? That's all I'm saying. We move on. Up the card, great win from Oban Elliott. I hope he gets a bonus. I swear, if Jones got a bonus for this card, he's a millionaire. Dana. Oban got one as well, though. Good shit. Either way, we move on. Mickey Gall versus Ramiz Brahimaj. I picked Ramiz Brahimaj to win, and I didn't. I picked Mickey Gall to win. Why? Why did I do that? I don't know. I don't actually know why. Ramiz Brahimaj gets the job done. TKO, vicious knockout in the first round, puts down Mickey Gall, crumples him against the cage in the first round. It was actually a pretty back and forth fight before then. Both guys landing good shots on each other, but Mickey Gall's chin just isn't. He's landing them on Brahimaj. Brahimaj is taking the shots. Brahimaj is landing them back. Gall's taking funny steps here and there. It's tough, man. He's 7-7 now in his career. It's probably time to let him go. Ramiz Brahimaj gets a first round KO and a performance bonus to go along with it. Really nasty win from him. 11-5, not the nicest of records, so he still needs to go a little bit further before we start giving him those jumps up. So maybe it's Mickey Gall. We need 1 or 2 wins in a row, 3 maybe, and then we'll start talking. But yeah, great win from Ramiz Brahimaj. Wicked overhand right over the top of Mickey Gall's shoulder where he didn't see it coming. Puts him down and puts him out. Nasty. 2 KOs back-to-back on the early prelims. We move on. Marcin Tybura versus Jhonata Diniz. Now, I just lose hope in heavyweight more and more every day. Listen. We'll get to the main event, guys. I'm joking. I lose hope in it, though, man. Tybura, I get it, yeah. But underhooks. Hello. Rebellis. Diniz. Underhooks, guys. You know? Spread your base. I just stuff a takedown, guys. And they're not great shots from Tybura, man. It's not like he's all, wow, what a shot from Tybura, dude. How'd he get that? You know what I mean? Diniz gets a takedown shot on him, and I'm like, dude, fish for the underhook here. You've got an underhook, and you're giving it up to, like, squat down against the cage as an attempt to escape this. Like, it's just not doing correct things. Jhonata Diniz landed some big shots immediately in the fight. And then he had like the sprawled takedown. I'm like, dude, separate. He jumps for a leg. Puts himself on bottom position. There's no helping some people. Okay? I thought Diniz was going to win. He didn't. Tybura, when he got him down, just blobbed him in full mount. And landed some vicious elbows at the end of round 2, to be fair. Really nasty elbows. Really badly put a whooping on Diniz. Cut him open all over the place. Had him wobbly when he got back up a little bit. I thought they were going to let this go on into the 3rd round. But in the New York Commission at MSG, that's not what they're about. You know what I mean? They're a little bit more, ooh, no. They're a little bit more like that. So I get it. They stopped the fight. Tybura wins by TKO. Good for Marcin Tybura. Just how good is Tom Aspinall, dude, when you really think about it? Because Tybura just keeps winning, it seems. So, yeah. Diniz, man. Undefeated, 8-0, glory kickboxing, knockout artist prospect. Beaten by Marcin Tybura because he can't stuff or get an underhook. Heavyweight, man. I'm telling you, Ryan Spann, Alexander Rakic, Johnny Walker, move up. There's a trick who's moving up. I think he'll become something decent. You know what I mean? Move up. It's pathetic now. We move on. David Onama versus Roberto Romero. I went with, I think I did say Onama. I'm not going to take it as a credit for a prediction, but I did say when they were walking out, Onama's probably going to knock this guy out. Because Romero was 8-3. He took it on a few days' notice. I was like, this ain't good for a debut. Onama's pretty good. And he's had a training camp as well. So I was like, Onama's going to put this guy away. Romero nearly puts him away. Hurts him bad in the 1st round. Pounces on him. Tries to get the back take. Doesn't quite get it. Onama recovers very quickly, to be fair to him. But yeah, Romero brought the fight. It was a scrap. You know, he went at him. Scrapped it out with him. But just wasn't enough as the fight went on and ended up in bottom position in scrambles and got knocked down at the end of round 1. Round 1 was a crazy back and forth round. I don't know how anyone scored that round for Onama, though. I will say that. I thought Romero did way better throughout the round. Like, was getting the better of nearly every exchange throughout the round. And dropped Onama worse than Onama dropped him. And pounced on him and had the back for a second. Like, there was more to it. Onama just dropped him at the end of the round and threw a couple follow-up shots and the bell rang. I don't know how they gave Onama the round, but they did. So it is interesting. But yeah, I gave Onama the win 2-1. Started switching on as the fight went on. Romero started being a little bit predictable, dipping in and swinging upstairs. And Onama started landing to the body on him and hurting him upstairs with some straight punches. So good job, David Onama. Good win. Not the best performance against an 8-3 guy on a few days' notice, but he got the win, and that's all that counts. Good win from David Onama. We move on. Jim Miller versus Damon Jackson. I went with Damon Jackson. I thought he was going to be able to grapple this to a win. I've never felt so wrong, because I was thinking, like, he looked better against Alexander Hernandez than Jim Miller did. I know it's Hernandez in a different division, and Hernandez should stay at lightweight, but for some reason keeps trying to go down to featherweight. But I'm like, featherweights are better technically than lightweights, typically. You know what I mean? Even while undersized, they seem to hold their own at lightweight from what we've seen with Holloway moving up and Volk moving up, and when they have full training camps, that is. Oliveira moving up. You know, the Dustin Poirier moving up. There's a lot of guys that make that move, and all of a sudden they look great technically for the division. And I'm thinking, Damon Jackson is going to be a better technical grappler in terms of getting half guard and just laying on Jim Miller and making it boring, and Miller's getting old. Miller chokes him out with a guillotine in round 1. And Damon Jackson just looked like a victim. I knew I was wrong as soon as the fight started. I knew I was wrong. He's up there with his pointy, like, bat elbows. Or shoulders, sorry. And they're just pointing up, like, weirdly at the side. And he's, like, trying to front kick from that position. I'm like, God, you look like a... Just give Miller your lunch money, man. It's tough to watch. Like, I knew Miller was going to win as soon as the fight started. I'm sure a lot of you guys felt the same. And eventually Damon Jackson went and shot in a takedown that wasn't the best, and Miller gets the guillotine choke. Good win by Jim Miller. Great to see Jim Miller get a win. Did he get a performance bonus? But John Jones, the millionaire, did. I get it was a spinning back kick to the body. He probably got about $10 million for that fight. Jim Miller didn't get... Come on, man. You can't set Jim Miller some 50k? That's lame from the UFC. But good win from Jim Miller nevertheless. We move on. Jonathan Martinez versus Marcus McGhee. Marcus McGhee in round 1 and 2 looked like a phenomenal fighter. Phenomenal fighter in round 1 and then maybe just before the end of round 2. Martinez wasn't throwing anything though. That does need to be mentioned. We're looking at an output of 171 total strikes to 65 in favor of Marcus McGhee. In round 1, he wasn't throwing anything. I'm going to find the stat. He threw 18 strikes, landed 7. McGhee threw 75 in round 1, landed 33. It's been annoying me for a few minutes. Martinez didn't throw anything. I thought, oh my God, Aldo's crushed this guy's confidence. But McGhee looked amazing, though. That's what I do want to mention, because a lot of this is going to be about the low kick and Martinez's negative IQ. But Marcus McGhee had really good skills on the feet, dude. The way he was chaining together combos, he looked loose, he looked quick, piecing together combinations, body kicks, low kicks, beating Martinez to the low kicks early, trying to mix it upstairs. Good footwork, good movement, making him miss when he did throw. And I thought, oh, this is good. Marcus McGhee looks like the next Kyler Phillips. Let's hope they don't put him against Rob Font or anything, you know. But he looked really good in this fight. Phenomenal. And then round 3, I picked Jonathan Martinez to win this as the fight went on with his low kicks. Round 3, Martinez really badly hurts McGhee's leg. Deadens his leg with low kicks. At the end of round 2, I noticed it as well. Like, oh, he's not going to take many more of them. The low kicks are starting to land and add up. Martinez has some of the nastiest low kicks in the game when they land and when he throws them, for crying out loud. Round 3, he really badly hurts McGhee's leg with low kicks. Once he does that, he clinches against the cage for about 2 minutes and just stays there doing nothing with Marcus McGhee, costing himself 2 minutes where he could be at range trying to get more low kicks off. It was so dumb. And then further on in that round, when they did separate, he lands more low kicks. And it's like, oh my God, McGhee's really nearly done here. Imagine if he didn't hold him against the cage immediately after hurting his leg and having a one-legged opponent for 2 minutes against the cage. Why would... It almost made me think Martinez had money on McGhee by decision, I'll be honest. I know I'm coping. McGhee looked amazing until the 3rd round. Absolutely amazing, revolutionary bantamweight skill. But what are you holding him against the cage for after you just ruined his leg and you can see that? I have no idea some of the decision-making of UFC fighters at times. It makes zero sense to me. We move on. Up the card to another fight. Terrible predictions on the prelims. Mauricio Huffy versus James Llontop. Let's talk about this. Mauricio Huffy looked really good in round 2. In round 1, he looked pretty smooth as well. A lot of people are saying, nah, he's the future. Guys, it was pretty competitive, I'll be honest with you. I gave him round 1. He landed the better shot of the round with that straight right hand, I believe it was. And he landed a few more as well. And he was more efficient despite Llontop throwing a lot more. But it was a competitive round until the last minute or 30 seconds of the round where he had a moment of success where you're like, okay, here he starts to find his groove. And you're like, okay, Mauricio Huffy wins the first round. Round 2, he landed less than Llontop, but the ones that he landed were really good shots. Rocked Llontop with a good right hand over the top immediately, stunned him, then starts pressuring, finding his flow state, going for wheel kicks on him and stuff like that, and then lands a no-look left hook while he's fading away and looking the other direction. He did that a lot. One day it's going to cost him, I feel like. Dropped to let James Llontop badly. Thought it was going to be a finish. It wasn't. Llontop wins round 3 after that. Huffy looked great. He had moments where he entered this mode where you're like, this is it. This is when he's going to get that highlight reel that we're looking for, because Llontop, let's face it, did not look good. It did not look in good shape, and he took this on short notice. He's probably going to get cut from the UFC now, which is somewhat sad because it was a good performance for a short notice step up against a prospect like Huffy. Huffy did lose a bit of this guy's... You know, Peyton Tabat has this... Nobody beats this guy right now. Peyton Tabat clears first round whatever he wants. We can't go on to say that about Huffy after this performance, because that performance was kind of like he's going to probably lose to someone half decent. You know what I mean? Just saying. If you don't finish him, it's going to get really interesting for Huffy, in my opinion. So I think he'll beat these unranked guys, but I'm interested to see what happens when he fights a legit contender in a division. If he's made the improvements he needs to by then. He looked like he slowed down. Striking defense was a little bit risky at times. Feeling himself a bit too much. Not in a weird way, but, just getting into his own mode, and then he would get hit and it would kind of take him out of it a little bit. And I'm like, dude, you hurt him. Get a leg kick or two off. Go to the body a bit and then start headhunting and take him out. But I don't know. Good performance overall. Fun to watch. Really fun fight to watch, but just wasn't the craziest in terms of hype and skill on display. From good skill, but wasn't the dominance we were expecting. We move on. Viviane Araujo versus Karine Silva. I picked Viviane Araujo to win as an underdog. I thought she'd be a crafty vet out there and do the right things when it came to getting top position. And she did get more takedowns than Karine Silva. The decision-making of her in this fight was very dumb. I thought she was winning the first round very clearly on the feet. And then Karine Silva cracked her with a shot. And I was like, oh, hang on, she's wobbled by this. I gave Karine Silva the first round. You could have given Karine Silva the third. I gave Viviane Araujo the second. They both landed decent shots on the feet. Araujo landed a few better, in my opinion, and then both of them had submission attempts. Araujo jumping for an armbar, and I believe Karine Silva had a dash choke, if I'm remembering correctly. And Viviane Araujo escaped it and then ended on top and started throwing some shots of ground and pound. And I was like, those ground and pound shots are probably going to win her that second round. Round 3, she landed better, but she landed less. Could have gone either way. Probably should have gone to Karine Silva, but the image of her on her back a lot that round while Araujo kicks at her legs. I don't know why she didn't just take top position there, by the way, and win the round because of it. Even at the end of the round, she threw her down and just didn't throw punches. But overall, there was momentum going into this fight. McGhee versus Martinez was fun. A lot of the prelims were really fun. Huffy's fight was fun, and this killed all momentum on the card, as they always do. Why are they on the main card of a pay-per-view, Dana? Stop this. You know what I mean? You know they're not going to perform. It is what it is, though. Araujo gets a decision win that she maybe didn't deserve. We move on. Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. I haven't slept in 3 days, by the way. All this getting up for the Aspinall interview, and I don't know how I'm doing this. But we pushed a lot for content this week, so I hope you guys appreciate that. I'm feeling it now, though. I'm seeing a few dots and a little head rush there, so. Bo Nickal versus Paul Craig. The hype is kind of dead. In my opinion, listen, he won. He remains undefeated. He gets a win over Paul Craig. For any other prospect, it'd be like, oh, good win. He beat Paul Craig and he outstruck him on the feet. And listen, man, you got to do better against Paul Craig than that if you're going to be talking like you beat Chimaev and Whittaker. If this was, maybe not yet, but someday I'll be good enough to beat them. And listen, maybe you will stuff a few takedowns against Chimaev. But on the feet, man, Chimaev marches across that cage and sleeps Paul Craig in 2 minutes. He just does. Paul Craig has nothing but a body kick. Never has for a long, long career that he's had. I like Paul Craig. One of the better personalities in the UFC. I think he's a cool dude. But, man, he just has not much but a rear body kick. Bo Nickal, man. Didn't shoot takedowns, and that's going to be his excuse. You know, I wanted to test my stand-up in that fight. I was just thinking this is a perfect time to show off my stand-up. And he got a 30-27 every scorecard. To be fair, I thought he won every round as well. There were people saying 2-0 Paul Craig. I was like, dude, you guys are hating. I know it's a bad performance. I know he's not finished him yet like he should have done. But he's winning the fight. Paul Craig's hitting his arms with kicks, but Bo Nickal's landing good low kicks and landing good decent shots upstairs as well. It just was, in my opinion, Bo Nickal doesn't have this crazy personality that's really hilarious where we're just going to love him regardless of the result. Like Strickland, it kind of has that. It doesn't matter if he goes to a split, boring decision with Hermansson. He's really hilarious and funny and everyone loves Strickland. So his star power and hype is, in my opinion, directly related to really nasty finishes and being dominant and potentially being a champion one day. And activity. He needs to be active. He needs to get finishes, and he needs to be dominant. Well, that hype is going to fizzle out. I bet you anything his numbers on everything are going to be so much lower after this fight than they were before. I don't think we see him on the main card again unless it's against like a Weidman or something and it's that week of a pay-per-view card. But I don't think they're going to do that. It wasn't the best fight. It was pretty dull. Some moments where he would land and you would go, oh, he landed a good punch there, but Paul Craig kind of took it well. Bo Nickal, man. Not the best at performances. Fuck, man. I really wanted to get behind Bo Nickal and hype him up, and he's going to be the next guy. I can't wait to see how he tussles up with Chimaev and, you know what I mean, and all these other matchups. But now I'm thinking, man, Hermansson probably beats him. Man, I would worry against him against Chris Curtis. You know what I mean? There's levels above Paul Craig at middleweight. And he didn't look many levels above Paul Craig at middleweight. Joe Pyfer. There's other guys, you know? Yeah. Not the best for Bo Nickal, but he rocked Paul Craig at one point. Go for the finish there. Take him out. Finish him. He was efficient with his work. He landed the majority of his shots throughout the fight. 84% accuracy rate in round 2. That's pretty good, but when you're talking on your podcast like you're going to do Chimaev dirty and sleep him and out-wrestle him and ragdoll him, go out there and demolish Paul Craig. You know? Improvements will be made. They need to be. And I need to see him in the next fight before I ever believe in the hype. We move on. Charles Oliveira versus Michael Chandler. 2. The rematch. Got a fight of the night bonus. Only because of round 5, Chandler had a moment of success. This was Oliveira. I was hyped throughout the fight. It did get a bit dull because at a point you were like, he's not going to get the finish on the back again. We're going to be stuck here for the rest of the round again. And round 1 was pretty nothing as well. Like this whole card was kind of, there were some decent finishes, but it was in moments, you know. Even this fight where you thought, oh, bound to be a finish in the first 2 rounds here. Oliveira ends up getting it done. He looked good, to be fair, Oliveira. This is probably the best we've seen Oliveira. A lot of people are saying washed. He's not the same. He doesn't trust his chin. I personally thought this was patient Oliveira, being calculated, picking his shots, not overextending and letting himself have a chance of getting rocked, which ended up happening in round 5. But, yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. Round 1, stalemate of a round. Oliveira gets him down early after they both go back and forth on the feet, and Oliveira does better on the feet early on. Chandler seems to take a while to snap in and lock in, Oliveira had some really good takedowns this fight. Good entries. Chandler would do a dynamic move to escape, and Oliveira would end up on top with like his leg entangled, and we just ended the whole round there. Basically nothing happening other than Chandler punching him in the back of the head over and over again. We'll get to the 5th round in a second. Fuck, I hate Chandler, and I'm glad he's fucking gone. No McGregor fight, no big fights. Fuck him. He can fight Fares Siam on a fight night card. Sorry. Round 2. Oliveira stumbles him on the feet, off balance though. Nothing clean. But then goes after him and he's patient. He lands a knee and a front kick to the body and he's patient. Low kicks are landing and you can see a bit of damage on Chandler's leg. And he gets a really good takedown on Chandler in round 2. He's in mount. He's elbowing Chandler on top position and cutting him open. And I'm screaming, now, 12-6. This is what it's for. Because Chandler had a closed tight guard to stop the elbows. And I'm like, dude, fucking lower that elbow right down the middle. But he wasn't going 12-6 much. But he wins round 2. No submission. Round 3 gets Chandler down. Lands better shots on the feet. Hurts Chandler with a vicious uppercut. Follows up, chasing him down. Chandler moving. Landing back now and then, but not enough. Oliveira keeping patient. High guard. He's walking Chandler down, touching him. Tie clinch. Single collar. And then just letting go. And Chandler's like, oh my God, he didn't throw anything there. Oliveira was very patient in this fight. Shoots again. Gets him down. Gets the back. Suplexes him pretty much. Hooks the leg, uses it to get round to the back angle, takes him down, gets the back, stuck there for the whole round. Nothing really happening, but Oliveira tapping him with some shots and not getting the choke. Similar situation in round 4. Moments on the feet, Oliveira gets the better of. Same exact exchange. Gets to the single leg, hooks the leg, goes round to the back, gets the body lock, drags down Chandler, gets the hooks in on the back. We're in there again for the next 4 minutes. Not much happening. Round 5. Oliveira doing his thing again. Looking like he's going to go on to win it. Chandler cracks Oliveira and hurts him. with a clean right hand right in the eye of Oliveira. Stumbles him. Chases on. Oliveira backing up. Chandler swinging hard and missing so bad he throws himself off balance, but Oliveira can't quite latch up the back. Chandler still going for him. Ends up on top of Oliveira. Starts swinging on him. And let me tell you when he threw about 10 or 20 vicious, blatant, intentional back of the head shots over and over and over again on Oliveira. I've seen the replay on Twitter. Punch, straight to the back of the head. Keith Peterson is squatting, looking at this happen. Nothing legal. They are legal now. Back of the head shots are not illegal in MMA, I swear. They are never penalized. If the guy who's doing them is a star, they are never penalized, ever. You know? If that was happening to O'Malley, if Merab was repeatedly back of the head shot in O'Malley, I bet you anything they would have been like, whoa, point deduction immediately, no warning. Like, O'Malley's holding the back of his head. Like, it's just like they only enforce the rule if they want to enforce the rule. And it's always in benefit of like someone who's they want to win. They wanted Chandler to win. I don't know why. I hate Chandler. I think he's a weirdo. All good though. But I'm glad he didn't get the fucking finish. And Oliveira latches up the back at the end. We're safe. He gets the win. Fuck Chandler. I'm glad he didn't win. Fuck him. Stands up at the end, though, slamming Oliveira down. He's one of the strongest dudes ever. One of the strongest dudes ever, pound for pound, in the UFC. Stands up again with Oliveira, slams him down. I hate that it gave him his hero moment at the end, because other than that, he got schooled. But Oliveira wins. Doesn't call out McGregor. I thought he would. Chandler calls out McGregor, cuts a promo on the mic. No. Let's face it, man. He's been given nothing but big fights. Ferguson fought 12 times in the UFC, went on a win streak of 12. Never got a title shot for the Undisputed. Did, but it never came to fruition. Chandler comes in, wins a fight, and gets one. Then he's back in another massive fight with Gaethje after the Oliveira fight, after the Hooker fight. And then after the Gaethje fight, it's Tony Ferguson time. And then it's this fight. And he's back to fighting Poirier. And now he's got McGregor. And then it's Oliveira in a rematch after 2.5 years off. There's so many other contenders. You know? Fuck him. Fight for SEM. Oliveira can fight Holloway or McGregor. I'd love to see Oliveira McGregor as a main event. I don't know if that's going to happen, but I'd love it. For Oliveira's sake, just for the star power of winning. We move on. Jones versus Miocic. I've watched some of it back. Round 1, Jon Jones getting clipped now and then. Both guys low kicking. Jones's low kicks are way better. The inside low kick he was going for. Gets the takedown. Vicious elbows of ground and pound. Stipe survives. Gets back to guard. Gets back safely to certain positions. And Jones can't quite finish from there. Kind of surprising to see. I thought he'd have a night and day jiu-jitsu advantage over Stipe. 3.5 years off. 4 years and so. 4 and a bit years since he's had a win. I do think Gall took a dive. I'm thinking that more and more. I watched about that fight back in the build-up of this one. He had no resistance. He didn't try to defend anything. It's all good, though. Stipe Miocic survives round 1. Jones' vicious ground and pound cuts him open. I thought it was going to be over there. That's a 10-8 round. Round 2. I'm listening to the commentary there. Glazing John. Dude, it was a very competitive round. Stipe had moments in round 2 where he landed. And Jones won the round, in my opinion. Don't get me wrong. One judge gave Stipe the round. It could have been 1-1. I thought Jones won it. I thought the body kicks were a lot more effective than what Stipe let on. I thought the inside low kicks were very sharp from Jones. But Stipe landed good punches to the head of Jones. Right through the guard. Bam. Popped his head back. Hook. Uppercut in the clinch. Chased him down. Landed glancing a lot of the time. A lot of them missed. But I thought Stipe did very well. A lot better than I thought he was going to do. I gave round 2 to Jon Jones, though. Round 3, Jones starts the round very good. Stipe starts doing okay. It starts getting competitive. Then Stipe has like a few moments of success. Jones finds the spinning back kick to the body against the cage. Puts down Stipe bad. It was a nasty spinning back kick. Sorry if I said fist. It was a nasty spinning back kick. And he put him away. Nasty shot. Vicious highlight reel finish. Wicked from Jon Jones. We're talking just about the fight. I spoke about the post-fight moments in another video, but I didn't think we'd see Stipe nearly get into a 4th round. If that spinning back kick doesn't land, I know if, because it did, it doesn't matter. But 30 seconds left in that round. Stipe gets to the 4th. That's another competitive round in the books. Where Jones outlanded him, but Stipe landed 2 and had some good moments. And I watched that fight, and I just saw someone post Aspinall Blades. And I went back and checked Aspinall Pavlovich. And I'm looking at these guys move compared to Jones and Miocic. That's all I'm saying, man. They're not the guys at heavyweight. Jones can beat these guys. Jones could take down Pavlovich, fraud check him on the ground and sub him. I get it. Watching them move around, they're not the guys at heavyweight. And I know you could say, well, they never actually left round 1. Well, it's not like Jones's legs were burnt out after round 1, were they? Moved around a bit, got the takedown, stayed there the whole time, landed some elbows, big elbows. But it's not like he was gassing. His legs are burnt out. If he was, that's a problem. But it's not like his legs were completely spent and, like, no wonder his movement was so compromised. I'm watching round 2 and I'm thinking, these guys are plodding around. Even the start of round 1. They're plodding around in front of each other, flat-footed, staring at each other in moments, face-to-face, standing there. Then I'm watching Aspinall dance around the octagon. Moving non-stop. And then you say, oh, Cyril Gane did that. Look what happened to him. I think he took a dive. But Aspinall's got the grappling to back it up. I do think Aspinall's the best heavyweight on the planet. I think Ngannou is an argument for the best heavyweight on the planet. I don't think it's Jones or Miocic. You know it's not Miocic, but I don't think it's Jones, man. I don't think it's Jones. Could he beat Pereira down at light heavyweight? Would he beat Pereira at heavyweight? I think so. At light heavyweight, if you don't finish Pereira early, those little legs, with someone who actually is going to low kick at him, Stipe, boxing only, man. Like, it's just a different division now, man. I know that the underranked people, the lower ranked people in the division aren't as good as they were before. They're fatties. But the top athletes are much better, I think. Much better, so. I don't know. Really good win from Jones with a spinning back kick to the body. Good for him. I hope they do the Aspinall fight next. I think Aspinall beats him. There is a chance, in my opinion, a 40% chance that Jones does win. And he would do that by taking down Aspinall and those elbows finish him. I think Aspinall's stronger, more athletic, and would put up a better fight off bottom position than Stipe would. And I think he would have a better chance at stuffing the takedown initially early as well. Because he moves. And it wouldn't be a good shot by John where he can step in and have his lead leg behind Stipe to get the Osotogari trip. That ain't happening with Tom. I'm sorry, that is not. Jones ain't going to be able to encroach in bit by bit and then step through and have his lead leg behind Stipe's. Enough to throw him over it and get the Osotogari trip. Aspinall's going to be moving. Hard low kick. Moving. Stiff jab. Moving. Hard low kick again. Maybe Jones shoots a perfect double leg. Who knows, but yeah. I don't know. Great finish. Not so great of a performance, in my opinion. He won it, but this is... I hate that this is like, oh my God, he did that to Stipe. 3.5 years out. 4.5 years without a win. KO'd in his last fight. Full-time firefighter for the past 3.5 years. And he's looking all right in round 2. That shouldn't have happened. I think Jones should have taken him down, destroyed him in the first 2 rounds. If that happened, I'd be like, fuck, man. Maybe Tom don't win. But watching him move around and then look side by side at Aspinall moving around in his fights, plus the grappling game of Aspinall, power, oof, I don't know. I think he wins. Like and subscribe. Thank you for watching. Toodle pip. I'll see you later. Goodbye. Not a great card overall. Prelim started strong. Ending was good. It's headline worthy. Jones kind of saved it, which is great for him. But other than that, the main card was a bit of a letdown. See you later. Goodbye.